cover all the highlights. Back from the whirlwind tour of the United States and Egypt, Prime Minister Modi switched gears from diplomacy to domestic politics. Addressing a gathering of BJP workers in poll-bound Madhya Pradesh, the Prime Minister tore into mission opposition unity.
देखिए, ऐसे लोगों पर गुस्सा मत कीजिए, दया कीजिए उन लोगों पर। 2014 हो या 19, वो कितने ही घोर विरोधी थे, लेकिन उन दोनों चुनावों में हमने देखा कि इतनी छटपटाहट नहीं दिखी जितनी आज दिख रही है। जिन लोगों को कुछ लोग पहले अपना दुश्मन बताते थे, पानी पी पी कर कोसा करते थे, गालियां देते थे, अब उन लोगों को आगे जाकर वो साष्टांग प्रणाम कर रहे हैं, नतमस्तक हो रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister said that the opposition's common minimum program is to escape action against corruption.
इस बैठक में शामिल दलों के इतिहास को देखेंगे तो पता चलेगा कि सारे मिलकर के कम से कम 20 लाख करोड़ के घोटाले की गारंटी है।
He declared the only guarantee that the opposition parties have is of घोटाला or scams.
अगर उनकी घोटाले की गारंटी है, हर घोटालेबाज पर कार्रवाई की गारंटी। जिसने देश को लूटा है, उसका हिसाब तो हो करके रहेगा।
Then came an all-out attack on dynasty politics.
आपको गांधी परिवार के बेटे बेटी का विकास करना हो तो फिर कांग्रेस को वोट दीजिए। आपको मुलायम सिंह जी के बेटे का भला करना है तो फिर समाजवादी पार्टी को वोट दीजिए। अगर आप लालू परिवार के बेटे बेटियों को उनका भला करना चाहते हो तो आरजेडी को वोट दीजिए। आपको शरद पवार जी की बेटी का भला करना हो तो आप एनसीपी को वोट दीजिए। आपको अब्दुल्ला परिवार के बेटे का भला करना हो तो आप नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस को वोट दीजिए। आपको करुणानिधि जी के बेटे बेटियों पोते पोतियों का भला करना हो तो डीएमके को वोट दीजिए।
The opposition parties were ready with the counter.
Abusing the opposition parties, they are all big leaders. They came with a great majority. He is only doing all the corrupt people. He is only doing washing machine business.
There was a time in Maharashtra when his leaders were highlighting the scams of the MLAs who are now a part of the Eknath Shinde group.
जब से पटना में पूरे देश की धड़कनें इकट्ठा हुई हैं, तब से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी अमेरिका से लेके उनका दिल जो है वो पटना की मीटिंग में फंसा हुआ है।
स्वीकार करेगा।
With his aggressive attack on united opposition, the Prime Minister has clearly set the tone for a Modi versus Rest battle in 2024. Bureau Report, India Today.
तो आज मैं भी एक गारंटी देना चाहता हूं।
Now, after the Prime Minister named Sharad Pawar's daughter Supriya Sule in the list of opposition names that he mentioned and accused them of corruption, Sharad Pawar has now responded. He's in fact questioned the Prime Minister, saying there's no need for him to have mentioned Supriya Sule, saying that all of the allegations of graft are simply not true. Sharad Pawar has even said it's not fitting for a Prime Minister to make these kind of comments. He's also in fact defended the opposition meet, saying they're coming together to combat country's issues, and many are against the opposition coming together, including the BJP. Let's play out for you what Sharad Pawar has said.
क्या बोलना चाहिए, इसका एक नया नमूना देश के सामने रखा है। वहाँ जो मौजूद थे, इसमें तमिलनाडु के मुख्यमंत्री हो या अन्य कुछ राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री थे, कई भूतपूर्व मुख्यमंत्री थे, जिनके हाथ में स्टेट चलाने की जिम्मेदारी है और लोगों का समर्थन है। ऐसे साथियों के बारे में इस तरह का स्टेटमेंट करना कहाँ तक सामुदायिक है, इस बारे में प्रधानमंत्री ने सोचने की आवश्यकता है कि उन्होंने इरिगेशन या इसके बारे में कुछ बातें कही है। सिर्फ महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट ने कितनी इन्वेस्टमेंट इस क्षेत्र में की, वो देखने के बाद ही पता लगेगा कि वो जो कहा है वो सच्चाई के आसपास नहीं है।
Let's take this across to our National Affairs Editor Rahul Srivastava, who's joining us on this broadcast. Rahul, good evening. If you look at the Prime Minister's speech and how really he's attacked the opposition, naming every single one of them, there's two core issues essentially that is used. One is corruption, the other dynasty politics. Nothing new really if you look at BJP's style of politics, but it's clear that they're sticking to that formula going into 2024 as well. All right, Rahul, I think you're muted. We're going to wait for a brief second so that you can unmute yourself and join us live here.
Sorry,
yes, Rahul, you can hear me? Go ahead.
See, on the 23rd, when the opposition parties met, one was wondering how Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP on the whole will react to the meeting and the calls for unity and consensus against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Apart from those statements that this was a photo op and others, I think we have a reply. We have a counter. Now, initially, one wondered that the BJP would have display some sense of jitters over the opposition coming together. It is indicative now that the Prime Minister has brought in an old playbook, and more the opposition intensifies its coming effort to come together, the more the attack is going to be, and the old template is going to be out. In 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and even after that in states like Uttar Pradesh and others, this dynastic politics element was very prominent. If you recall, Rahul Gandhi being targeted as Shahzada. Now, what the Prime Minister is doing, that if the BJP can actually prove that this is a gathering or coming together of struggling dynasts who are out to get to power so that they can meet their sense of entitlement, I think that's what the political template the BJP Prime Minister is throwing. And what it seems that more they try to come together, the more the BJP will harden its stand on that. Then the struggle element comes in the corruption element. In Karnataka, corruption hurt the BJP. In Madhya Pradesh, it can hurt the BJP. So before anybody could start the corruption element, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stepped in by calling that there is a corruption issue. Almost everybody, if you recall, in the coming together of the opposition, Akhilesh Yadav, Lalu Yadav's son, Lalu Yadav, Mamata Banerjee's nephew, there are a lot of cases against central agencies against these leaders in the coalition which is trying to be formed. Now, in that, the BJP can continue targeting them. But I think beyond that, the larger attempt by the government, by the BJP also very distinctly now is a sense of polarization. The polarizing element cannot be ruled out, especially in a state like Madhya Pradesh. And I was earlier saying to Shiv in the program that the BJP Prime Minister has done this in a state where the Congress is trying to enter the Hindutva gym, while the BJP is flexing its saffron muscle. And that is why it makes it interesting that the UCC, the Uniform Civil Code element, has been pushed into the public. I think we'll be hearing a lot on that now.
It's a formula that's essentially worked for the BJP. So they're sticking to that time-tested one really going into 2024 as well. Thanks very much, Rahul, as always, for joining us with your perspective, with your inputs on this. So So the Prime Minister referred to several big politicians, some of the biggest in the country, who were part of that opposition meet, and said if you vote for this person, ensure that their son will prosper. You're voting for their son or daughter to prosper. Who are these leaders? Well, they started with the Congress, saying if you vote for Congress, Sonia's son will prosper. And this is what, in fact, are the corruption cases he referred to. Rahul Gandhi is facing the National Herald case, something that the ED is currently investigating. Rahul Gandhi himself is out on bail in this case. What are, in fact, the other leaders? Who are they that Prime Minister Modi named? Why did he also name Mulayam Yadav's children? Akhilesh Yadav also faces a graft charge. He's accused in an illegal sand mining case, which is also being investigated currently by central agencies. Tejaswi Yadav, Prime Minister Modi made a specific mention of Lalu and his family. Of course, Lalu's family, whether you look at Rabri Devi, Tejaswi Yadav or his daughter, all of them have been accused in different corruption cases. Supriya Sule, Sharad Pawar, you just heard from him saying all of this is completely untrue, but Supriya Sule faces a corruption charge in a Lavasa land scam. Now, Kalvakuntla Kavita Rao, daughter of KCR, has been in the news for the last many months over the Delhi liquor case. She's also been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate, questioned in this particular case. But these are the names that the Prime Minister has referred to. And you look at the long list of how all of them have corruption cases against them. That's what the BJP is focusing on. And with that, I'm slipping into a short break here on 6 p.m. Prime. While on one hand, you have the Prime Minister attacking the opposition, on the other, opposition leaders are busy attempting to unite. Days after Patna meet, there are divisions that have come to the fore. We'll tell you all about that in just a bit.
Best colleges of the country. Which one will boost your aspirations? From courses to placements, know them all. India Today Best Colleges Survey 2023. Issue out this Friday, 23rd June. Subscribe now to indiatoday.in/subscribe.
Over 50 days, Manipur continues to remain tense. The ground reality tells about the tragic situation in the northeastern state. Demonstrations and slogans are on in the capital, Imphal, with residents seeking peace. Protesters want their elected representatives not to return from Delhi without finding a solution.
There you see these women from the Meitei community holding a protest against the government and of course demanding amicable resolution, even warning their representative, the local representatives whoever are in consultation, in touch with the center government. The only demand is don't even come back until there is amicable solution.
Women demand strict action against the extremist Kuki organization.
जब वो यहाँ पहुँचा ना, उसके बाद सुल्तानपुर में जाके कुकी का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सभी मीटिंग हुआ था ना, तो उसमें वो लोग एग्रीमेंट मतलब उसमें आ सकते हैं, फिर भी वो तमाशा देखने आया है.
Meanwhile, there is massive security deployment on the streets of Imphal. Curfew is relaxed from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. to enable people to buy essentials.
Everywhere you only see the deployment of the security forces which are guarding and ensuring that peace remains. As far as violent clashes are concerned, this has been happening in past few. However, the intensity has perhaps reduced. The Meitei groups or the Kuki group, they have literally formed their own teams who are guarding their villages in form of carrying their weapon.
People, including women and children who have been displaced, are now living in relief camps opened by the BJP.
In such relief camps of Imphal, many childs have recently born. In fact, here is the list. Out of 107, we are seeing children who were born on 14 June, 7 June, 12 June. And imagine they are rendered homeless As far as the shelter is concerned, it is only such relief camps which are provided by the administration, civil volunteers, political parties.
They burn our house, our village. We are running here and there. We can't understand that day. And after that day, we are running to my father's quarter there. I want to go back to our village.
The relief camps see large kitchens to prepare food for the hundreds taking shelter. Special food is also being prepared for pregnant women and children. How long before strife-torn Manipur sees peace and ends the cycle of violence? With Ashutosh Mishra in Imphal, Bureau Report, India Today.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.
Welcome back. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime. It's been 4 days since the opposition meet took place in Patna. And since then, there's been one difference after another that's emerged, which begs us to ask several questions. First, if these opposition parties can actually unite in Delhi when they're bickering in different states, having very clear differences. Second, about whether a common minimum program can actually be worked out between so many parties. 2 parties, 3 parties, that's different from having so many on board. Can there be consensus on a prime ministerial phase? So far, there hasn't been, especially with so many big names and so many big leaders in the fray. Can there truly be a united front when you've got so many parties who have refused to be a part of any sort of opposition huddle? I'm talking about the BRS, the BJD, the YSRCP, and many other big regional players who've decided to skip. Will parties have to essentially compromise on their own agenda to reach any sort of middle ground, or at least to begin that conversation? We try to answer some of those questions in our next report.
Despite multiple huddles, show of unity and photo op, the big opposition push for a viable anti-Modi front for 2024 is far from turning into a reality. The disparate blocs, regional ambitions, clash of old rivals are big hurdles that the opposition is finding insurmountable. From Delhi to Kerala to West Bengal to Telangana, the attempt to bring together all opposition parties is coming undone. In Delhi, it is a massive showdown between Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party over centre's ordinance. Kejriwal's party has been constantly seeking support from Congress in Rajya Sabha. But after opposition from its Delhi and Punjab units, Congress remains non-committal.
जब मुल्क के अंदर जो बड़े विषय हैं, आज संविधान की रक्षा की बात हो, कानून की रक्षा की बात हो, एजेंसियों की सुरक्षा की बात हो, आज तमाम विपक्ष एक साथ बैठकर उन पर चर्चा करता है, लेकिन अरविंद अपनी जिद पर और अपनी हट पर जो है अपने विषय पर बात करना चाहते हैं। आखिर इतनी जल्दबाजी क्यों?
मैं तो कांग्रेस पार्टी से एक ही सवाल पूछना चाहूँगी कि क्या वो देश के संविधान के साथ है, क्या वो लोकतंत्र के साथ है, क्या वो संघीय ढांचे के साथ है, या वो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के साथ है? क्योंकि जो ऑर्डिनेंस प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी दिल्ली में चुनी हुई सरकार की ताकत खत्म करने के लिए लाए हैं, वो गैर कानूनी है, वो गैर संवैधानिक है।
Down south, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan recently arrested State Congress Chief Sudhakaran in a cheating case, sparking a full-blown political war.
ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ സന്നദ്ധയെ അറിയിച്ചു, ഞാൻ മാറി നിൽക്കുന്നു. പക്ഷേ നേതൃത്വം ഒറ്റക്കെട്ടായി ആവശ്യപ്പെടുന്നു, ഹൈക്കമാൻഡ് അടക്കം ആവശ്യപ്പെടുന്നു, കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യണം, നിർബന്ധമാണ്, ആവശ്യമില്ലാതെ ചിന്തിക്കരുതെന്ന് പറയുന്നു. എനിക്ക് ഒരു ഭയവുമില്ല, ഒരു ആശങ്കയുമില്ല, നല്ല ബോധ്യത്തിലാണ്. എന്നെ ചോദ്യം ചെയ്തതോടുകൂടി എനിക്ക് ആത്മവിശ്വാസം കൂടി, ഒരു ചുക്കും ചുണ്ടാമ്പും ഉണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല.
In West Bengal, Chief Minister Mamta, who was a part of key opposition meet in Patna, fired salvos at Congress, saying it is hand in glove with the BJP.
সিপিএম কংগ্রেস বিজেপিকে বিদায় দিন, তিনটে একজোট হয়েছে, আমরা দিল্লিতে চেষ্টা করছি বিজেপির বিরুদ্ধে মহাজোট করবার জন্য, আর এরা কালো আমায় গালাগালি দিচ্ছে, মহাঘোট করবে, মহাঘোট আমি ভেঙে দেবো।
In Telangana, BRS versus Congress erupted as several KCR loyalists joined the Congress. Telangana Chief Minister KCR went on a campaign blitz to neighbouring Maharashtra with a massive convoy of cars, drawing ire from the opposition Mahagadi.
तेलंगाना में इस प्रकार से राजनीति हो रही है और उसका बदला आप महाराष्ट्र में लेने जा रहे हो, तो मैं कहूँगा आप बीजेपी के लिए काम करें। आप बीजेपी की बी टीम, अगर केसीआर जी है ऐसे ही नौटंकी करते रहे तो तेलंगाना में हार जाएंगे, और वो हार के डर से वो महाराष्ट्र में घुस रहे हैं।
Prime Minister Modi and BJP rubbed in the internal discord, terming the opposition a group of corrupt, aligning only to escape centre's anti-corruption crackdown.
कई लोग जो जमानत पर चल रहे हैं, जो घोटालों के आरोपी हैं, जिनके ऊपर भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप है, ऐसे लोग उन लोगों से जाकर मिल रहे हैं जो सजा काट रहे हैं या जेल में से अनुभव लेकर के आए हैं।
Is the Modi versus the rest battle for 2024 a non-starter? Bureau Report, India Today.
To focus particularly on two issues right now. One of the problem that the Congress faces with regards to what's happening in Kerala, and second, KCR's mega campaign in Maharashtra right now. So let's begin with the Kerala Congress. Rahul Gautam is getting us those updates. Rahul, good evening. You know, Rahul Gandhi has put out a tweet yesterday in which he's backed the Kerala Congress unit, but there will be questions on how days ago you were standing with the left leaders and now you're condemning them.
Well, it is very ironical that the same opposition parties were taking vows to fight against BJP. At the same time, they're also calling each other the B team of BJP. And now the same thing is happening in Kerala also, which seems to be imploding and showing cracks in opposition unity. Now, the Congress leaders are accusing CPM government of harassing, the Congress leaders. They are saying that the CPM government in Kerala is resorting to witch hunt. In fact, they said, the Congress leaders, that what Modi government is doing at central level, the same thing is now happening in Kerala also, where CPM is misusing agencies, particularly like police, to arrest their leaders. So it seems that the opposition camp is not on the same page when it comes to aligning, and it seems that there are a lot many issues which needs to be ironed before they come together at national level. I myself spoke with Mr. V.D. Satishan, who is the CLP leader of Kerala. In fact, he said that I came all the way from Kerala, Trivandrum, to national capital to complain Rahul Gandhi and High Command about the high-handedness of
And Rahul
Kerala
Gandhi has taken note of it. But the concern is that Rahul Gandhi hasn't commented about whether this means that the left in Congress will still align when it comes to the national election, and how can that really be? Now, it's a similar predicament when you look at what's happening in Telangana, because there, it's another headache for the opposition, essentially. Abdul Bashir is joining us live. Abdul, tell us what really KCR's strategy is. He's made it very clear he's not going to be part of any united front because he harbors prime ministerial ambitions. 2024, he's eyeing that big battle.
See, in a bid to expand his party from more than Telangana, which was earlier in Telangana itself, the TRS Telangana Rashtra Samiti has now become Bharat Rashtra Samiti, where KCR has stepped out of Telangana and now he is moved on to Maharashtra, where recently he has inaugurated his party office in Nagpur, and now he is on a two-day visit to the Padanpur district of Maharashtra, where he is on a temple visit
he along with his cabinet ministers, MPs, MLAs have headed with a 600-car convoy in which they are taking part for this pilgrimage. So this situation comes after the all opposition meet that has taken place, where KCR has skipped the meeting, and after boycotting several of the central meetings of the BJP government. Now KCR's party is opting to attend the meetings that are being held by the central government. So this move can be seen. However, the MBA, the Mahavikas Aghadi, has questioned the intentions of KCR for his entry into Maharashtra, where what is his intention? Has he come to divide votes? This is what the Mahavikas Aghadi has questioned. So right now KCR has not given a clarity about the upcoming polls, whether he's going with the
So
BJP.
let's see how it really plays out. But there will be questions about whether KCR can really balance a Telangana election and a national election. Thanks very much, Abdul, as well as Rahul Gautam, for joining us with all of those details. That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks for tuning in. On the other side, the much anticipated World Cup schedule is out, and Nikhil Naz gets you all the updates, all the details, and the dates you need to save on your calendar.
Chances of Go First taking to the skies again are getting brighter by the day. The budget airline, which had filed for bankruptcy last month, has secured lenders' approval for an interim funding of 450 crore rupees. This amount could allow Go First to take wings again. How soon could this happen? Let's hear from BTTV's Karishma Sudani. Karishma, what's the plan of action for the airline? What are the compliance modalities with regulators that Go First will have to abide by in order to resume operations?
Well, major relief for cash-strapped Go First, and this comes almost after 2 months since they filed their voluntary insolvency plan with NCLT Delhi. In fact, what is coming up is that the lenders or the Committee of Creditors of Go First has approved interim funding plan of rupees 400 crore, and this has been also because of the new RP who's taken in charge. Now, the process, of course, lies with the DGCA, where the RP will present their resolution plan, and this plan of action will have to be approved by DGCA before it, of course, goes to the bank boards in order to approve this interim funding. Two big challenges ahead is one, with their low fleet and, of course, less staff, it's going to be a challenge for them to get back into action soon. Go First is planning to resume its flights from July. They plan to start 78 flights per day, and they have about 22 aircrafts currently.
Thanks, Karishma. You can save 15 to 20 minutes of your time when boarding a flight from Delhi Airport. Delhi Airport has for the first time in India introduced a self-dropping facility for baggage at T3. This facility allows passengers to check in their own baggage without the help of airport staff, and importantly, without standing in long check-in lines. For travelers, a self-baggage drop facility involves a two-step process. First, passengers can generate their boarding passes and baggage tags at the self-check-in kiosk. Then, after tagging their check-in baggage, passengers can load their baggage onto the designated belt. Currently, passengers traveling in Indigo can use the facility. 5 other airlines, including Air India, Vistara, Air France, KLM and British Airways, are expected to allow usage of self-baggage drop for their passengers soon.
Most people believe that logging off means complete breakup with your gadget. That is actually not the case. We totally believe that technology has made things simple for us, and a step-by-step detox is only what we need. So here's us showing you how to do it and not just saying it. Your 10-step guide on how to detox. Your days begin with looking into your phone, does it not? And ends with looking into your phone. That should not be the case.
You need about 45 minutes to an hour break between the last digital interface, which is interactive or which involves, let's say, watching a show on television or news for that matter. Anything that you've seen, you need to have a gap. Why? Because when you are seeing something on the screen or interacting or texting or browsing, this interactive digital interface gives you a sense of stimulation. It interferes with the relaxation the mind requires before sleep.
If you need an alarm, use it, not your phone. Instead, choose to spend the first 30 minutes on yourself, your tea, coffee, even just doing nothing. But certainly not looking into your phone. Here are things you must do with your phone's settings. Keep messages notification off, which means each time I have an email or message, I don't get a beep, nor do I see the notification pop up.
You are making an important presentation, you have an examination, you're doing something important. At that moment, is your mobile phone off or on? It's off. Why is it off? Because you don't want to be distracted by a message, by a notification. So I think it's very important for people to keep your notifications off when you are doing a task. Complete the task, go back on the phone, no problems to that, and then get back on your work. It's important not to keep worrying or thinking, have I missed a sound, have I missed a notification? We all need to understand, for successful completion of a task, one thing at a time before you move to the next one.
Designate rooms in the house where the phone use is not going to be allowed. Tough, but try it. Maybe your bedroom. Put your phone away while eating. Try not looking into the TV or any other screen.
Hello and welcome to our special broadcast, Mission World Domination, because it's been 10 long years since India have held an ICC trophy. Will that trend change with the 2023 Cricket World Cup that is to be held in India? That is something that we're going to focus on, because today happens to be the day when the World Cup schedule has been announced. If there's one particular phrase that comes to your mind when you look at that World Cup schedule, is better late than never. 3.5 months to go for that 50-over World Cup, and finally you have the schedule. In usual circumstances, you used to have the schedule come about 12 months in advance, sometimes 14 months in advance. That wasn't the case this time around because of logistical issues. Finally, the schedule is out on a day that also marks 100 days for that Cricket World Cup. We're going to tell you the India schedules a little later, but first let's take a look at some of the major talking points, the salient points of the schedule that has been announced. Remember, this is the Cricket World Cup, and one more thing that really sets it apart from all other World Cups that have been held in India. Before this, remember, this is going to be the 4th time that India is hosting a World Cup. The World Cups before this were shared. India were the co-host. For the very first time, India are going to be hosting the entire World Cup. So these are some important points to note, important numbers. They are in total 46 days that the World Cup is going to span over, starting from the 5th of October, going up till 19th of November. That's when the final is going to be played. 48 matches in total will be played that have been divided over the 10 venues, 10 cities that are going to be hosting these 48 matches. What is interesting is that India will be playing 9 round-robin games, and out of those 10 venues, 9 will get an opportunity to watch an India game. A total of 10 teams. This is the format that we saw last time around as well in the 2019 Cricket World Cup. That same format will be seen this time around too. This was first seen in the 1992 World Cup, and most analysts and cricket pundits believe that this is the best format. Round Robin League, 10 teams in the tournament, each play against each other, and then the top 4 teams qualify for the semi-final. So these are the salient points. This is something on numbers that you must remember looking ahead to the World Cup. Of course, the dates for the semi-finals and finals are also out. Let's now take a look at how the Indian team is going to be playing this particular tournament. Now, Virender Sehwag, remember, was a member of the 2011 Cricket World Cup that the Indian team won. That was a World Cup that came after a very, very long gap. The last time India had won was in 1983. The last World Cup that India hosted, 2011, India came out as the champions. A very interesting anecdote that Virendra Sehwag shared with us on the day that the schedule was announced about the superstition, especially about MS Dhoni, how he ensured that was particular diet that he was consuming during the course of the World Cup was in line with India's success rate. Listen in.
2011 वर्ल्ड कप हम लोग जीते। हर कोई जहां भी जा रहे थे सिर्फ यही बोल रहे थे कि यार इस बार वर्ल्ड कप जीतना है। तो हम लोग ये बोल रहे थे कि यार होस्ट नेशन तो कभी जीता ही नहीं है, तो हम कैसे जीतेंगे। तो सब अपने सुपरस्टिशंस लगा रहे थे कि अच्छा ये करेंगे तो जीतेंगे। MS धोनी पूरे टूर्नामेंट के टाइम में उन्होंने माने का एक मैच शुरू होता है, उनके कमरे में खिचड़ी खाई है। रन नहीं बन रहे थे बट कह रहे थे खिचड़ी खा के जीत तो रहे हैं, मेरे रन बने ना बने हम एटलीस्ट जीत तो रहे हैं। तो वो जीत के लिए सब लोग अपने अपने सुपरस्टिशंस लगा रहे थे। आई थिंक आप बायलैटरल में 500-600 हज़ार रन बना लो, कोई नहीं पूछता, लेकिन अगर आप वर्ल्ड कप में 300-400 रन बना के कंट्रीब्यूट करते हो, जीतते हो, या 10 विकेट ले लेते हो और आपकी टीम वर्ल्ड कप जीतती है, तो वो लाइफ लॉन्ग याद रहती है। MS धोनी का वो छक्का, कपिल देव के वो 175, वो आज भी गूज बम देते हैं हम जब दोबारा टीवी पे देखते हैं। तो आई थिंक वर्ल्ड कप से बढ़िया चीज़ और कोई नहीं है। ओलंपिक है क्रिकेट का।
Now you know it, khichdi was the secret sauce that India had during the 2011 World Cup. MS Dhoni ensuring that superstition goes along throughout the tournament. Eventually, India emerged victorious. Let's take a closer look now at the Indian team's campaign in the 2023 World Cup. To start with, they'll be up against the most successful team in World Cup history, up against right now also the team in form, a team that has traveled to India on last two occasions and have won the bilateral ODI series, Australia. That's what India is going to start the tournament with, against the mighty opposition in Australia. Mark that date, 8th of October. That game is going to be played in Chennai. Let's take a look at India's next match. That is against Afghanistan on the 11th of October, to be played in the capital, Delhi. Remember, Afghanistan can be that banana peel team. Last time around in the 2019 World Cup, India won the game against Afghanistan, but it wasn't easy going. Then the big one after that, 15th of October, India versus Pakistan. The mother of all games will be played in the biggest sporting stadium in the world, a capacity of 1.3 crore. And that's the kind of capacity that you need, just keeping in mind the demand for tickets that you're going to have. India versus Pakistan on the 15th of October. If we move on to India's next game after that, they are going to be playing Bangladesh, 19th October. This game is going to be played in Pune, not too far away from Ahmedabad, the game that India is playing before that. Moving on, after Bangladesh, India are going to be up against New Zealand. Again, a team that has been India's Achilles heel. Recently beat them in the WTC final, the one that happened in 2021. Before that, in that T20 World Cup, were responsible for knocking India out. And then 2019 World Cup in the semi-final, New Zealand knocked India out. Big one once again. The current defending champions, the world champions in the 50-over format. England will be up next, 29th of October. That game is going to be played in Lucknow. From there on, India will play one of the qualifiers. We don't know the two qualifiers that are going to come through. It would most likely be Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe. So one between Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe as things stand right now. Unless West Indies pull a rabbit out of the hat, those could be the teams that India play in that qualifier. One, India versus South Africa. Again, a crucial game against a very dodgy team, a team that can upset any opponent on a given day in South Africa. 5th of November in Kolkata at the Eden Gardens. Then the second qualifier, as I said, two teams will qualify. We don't know. The qualifiers are on as we speak. That game is on 11th of November to be played in Bengaluru. So that's how India's schedule pans out. There are two ways of looking at it. Some might like the fact that India are playing their tougher games right at the start, the likes of Australia, Afghanistan, then Pakistan, be done with these big games and then, build onto the tournament. The other way of looking at it is, would India be a bit cold, a bit underprepared going in? Would they have rather wanted to play some slightly weaker team to begin with and then come face to face against Australia and Pakistan? You can look at it either way. Probably a case of glass half full or glass half empty. Now, Virendra Sehwag was there at the launch of the schedule of the FIFA World Cup, and he believes India stand a good chance of winning the World Cup. They need a motivation, just as his team had in 2011. In 2011, they were trying to win the World Cup for Sachin Tendulkar. Sehwag believes this time the Indian team can motivate themselves by trying to win it for Virat Kohli.
We played that World Cup for Tendulkar, at least we gave more than 100% that, and if you win the World Cup, that's a great exit for Sachin Paji. I think Virat Kohli is similar. He's in Sachin Tendulkar's shoes. The way he plays, the way he talks, the way he look after others, and the way he played cricket with his passion. So I think he's the one now. Everybody's looking for this World Cup to win it for Virat Kohli, because the kind of player he is, the kind of human being he is excellent, and he helps a lot other cricketers. So I think whenever Virat Kohli plays a World Cup or a big series, he give more than a youngster. So he give more than 100%, and he make sure that youngsters or other teammates, compete with Virat Kohli. So, and he beat all of them. That the way Sachin Tendulkar did, even during 2011 World Cup or 2003 World Cup, he scored lots of runs, more than us and more than Gambhir and Yuvraj. I think Virat Kohli is also looking forward to this World Cup, because it's happening in India, and India is the best country to play a World Cup, because 100,000 people will watch you in Ahmedabad, in Narendra Modi Stadium, and wherever he goes, that Indian fans, that 12th man or 13th man will praise or will support Virat Kohli, and I'm sure that he is used to of playing in all the grounds, and he knows how the wicket will behave. I'm sure that he will score good runs, and hopefully he will win the World Cup for us again.
Meanwhile, a political row has erupted since the World Cup schedule was announced. Opposition parties are now up in arms that certain games that were to be played in states outside of BJP rule, they haven't been given an opportunity to host that particular games. Aam Aadmi Party are upset that Mohali, a venue that had been getting a lot of games, wasn't given a game in this World Cup. Remember, Mohali is a venue that has hosted 2 World Cup semi-finals. Before this, they hosted it in 1996. It was a game played between Australia, West Indies, and then once again they hosted the semi-final in 2011, a big game like the India-Pakistan encounter. Mohali hasn't got a game. Savai Mansingh Stadium in Jaipur hasn't got a game. Shashi Tharoor, the Congress MP, has said that there is no game for either between Kochi or Thiruvananthapuram, 2 venues that usually end up hosting games as well, big games at that. Of course, there's a warm-up game that will be played there, but a regular game out of those 48 games that we're discussing hasn't been given to them. Taking a jibe, he also said that Ahmedabad is now becoming a cricketing capital because all the big games like the final have gone to it, as well as that India-Pakistan will also be played in Ahmedabad. We also spoke to TMC leader, former World Cup winner in Kirti Azad about this, and this is what he had to say.
I see the kind of the way they have distributed the venues, I laugh. On the way arbitrarily they have taken decision. They should, first of all, the way how it goes is, first of all, you take the senior most, the founder members, and a lot important matches to those. Delhi is one of the founder members, and it has got a game against Afghanistan. It's a laughing stock. Then you have a stadium which is comparatively newer than Mohali and to Trivandrum, the 2 which are under controversy, has got 2 matches, which was earlier Sardar Patel Stadium, which I don't know why it has been named Narendra Modi Stadium. It should have been in some sports person's name, like Dhyanchand was named in place of Rajiv Gandhi, sports Khel Ratna. So it's very strange that you have a very important game between India and Pakistan being played at Ahmedabad, and again the finals. Mohali, yes, is a very important and a senior member of the BCCI. It has had a president of the BCCI from Punjab, and Mohali has hosted some important matches due to its seniority, and so does Trivandrum deserve a game because of its seniority. And Ahmedabad getting 2 games is quite strange. Delhi getting Afghanistan shows that somebody just sits there, decides in an autocratic dictatorial manner, and has allocated these matches.
But Mr. Azad, is it a bit unfair, and I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, to criticize really the decision of having these big bang matches in Ahmedabad, considering that the Narendra Modi Stadium has very often been pitched as the world's largest stadium right now?
Does the largest mean it is the best? What it's called, just because it's the largest, you should have the football World Cup final here. What is this? I fail to understand why. You have had very important, in the last couple of years since the stadium has been made, very important matches and other functions have taken place at the Ahmedabad stadium. Why is it so? That is my question. The question is, why is Mohali being neglected, which is a very senior and important association of the BCCI? Trivandrum, which is very senior and very important stadium, and Delhi, which is a founder member of the BCCI in 1929, has got Afghanistan. Why? These are the questions. Why should everything only go to Ahmedabad just because it's the biggest stadium in the world? That doesn't, I think little knowledge is worse than no knowledge.
So there's one controversy brewing over the allotment of the venues. The other is about Pakistan. Remember, Pakistan had also expressed reservations. We still don't know 100% if they're going to be touring or not. There's a statement that the PCB, the Pakistan Cricket Board, has also issued, and it reads that the government of Pakistan's clearance is needed for any tour of India, including the match venues, and they are at the moment liaising with their government for guidance. And as soon as they hear something from them, they will update the ICC. The position right now, the PCB says, is consistent to what they had said ICC a couple of weeks ago. So a couple of weeks ago, they had communicated to the ICC that we are in touch with our government and we'll let you know whether we can travel to India and whether we can play in those particular venues where we are scheduled to play. Joining us right now live is a senior cricket journalist in Shahid Hashmi from Pakistan. Thank you, sir, so much for speaking to India today. What do you make of this particular statement? Is it fair to say at the moment that it's not 100% certain that Pakistan will even come to India to play the 50-over World Cup?
Well, I don't agree with this. My point of view is that Pakistan will definitely go there. 100% Pakistan will be there in the last week of September to play the warm-up matches. Then 6th and 12th October, 2 qualifiers, and 15th, the big match in Ahmedabad. This is what you call playing down the gallery. PCB will definitely play down the gallery, and close to the event, they will again raise some objections over Ahmedabad as venue for Pakistan-India game. But once the government give clearance to Pakistan cricket team to go and play in Ahmedabad, why not? 132,000 people chanting for India, double pressure of expectations on India. Beat them, go there, not only win the match, but win hearts as well.
All right, that's brilliantly summed up, and that's music to the ears of every cricket fan at the moment. Shahid Hashmi, they're confirming that it does seem like that Pakistan will definitely be touring India, and it'll be a great opportunity not just to play their best cricket, but also win a lot of hearts. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Hashmi, on our broadcast, but unfortunately, we're completely out of time on this special edition on the World Cup schedule that we brought to you. India's matches are there. If you're a big cricket fan, then book your hotel tickets, book your flight tickets for all the matches, because the schedule is in front of you. The tickets also will be out for sale soon. That's all that we have time for. Thanks so much for watching.
Despite the recent rally, returns have been sort of lukewarm for Indian equity investors, 10-11% kind of return over a 2-year period, which is a bit subpar. So are you confident that the next couple of years will make up for what has been a fairly pedestrian run for the last 24 months?
And actually, the returns that you've seen in Indian equity markets and in Indian small cap and mid caps have been about one of the best in the world at this point of time in the last 24 months. So while it may appear that the returns have been modest, I would say it is one of the best returns that you've got anywhere in the world. If you look at the future, I would say that, we are in a very structurally in a very good shape. And you know that geopolitically we are in a very good shape. And from a macroeconomic point of view also, we are in a very good shape. And but having said that, the challenge is that from a valuation perspective, we are one of the costliest markets in the world, and outside US, I would say we are one of the costliest markets at this point of time. So even going forward, it's tough to believe that you can get very big returns in the long run, in the medium run, I mean. But it is still India is one of the best markets to invest in for the long run, and because it's a very good structural story. But if the valuations were to become more reasonable, I think India would be a great market where you can get both good long-term returns and big long-term returns. Whereas today, because of valuation, it's difficult to predict very high returns at this point.
If you had to guess, and I know it's an impossible question to answer, but over the next 2 to 3 years, which we can classify as medium term, do you think the chances of Indian investors getting 10-11% kind of returns from equity are higher, or 50% plus kind of returns, which is essentially the desirable return for most Indian equity investors?
In late 90s, you could get 16 to 18% in many debt products. So at that point of time, I would say it was necessary for you to get 20% per annum to invest in equity. Today, you're not getting that kind of return. So as long as you get better returns than an alternate asset class, I think it is fairly attractive. And having said that, there are so many geopolitical imponderables which none of us know. And what can hurt markets in the near term? Do we know? The answer is certainly not. Did anyone expect the Ukraine war? The answer is no. Did any of us know that this could be a problem in 2022? The answer is no. So I think we all think that we know what will happen to markets, but periodically certain things happen in markets which we can't predict, and that is the reason why systematic investment plans and asset allocation are the two best ways to invest for most people in the long run.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 39 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 30 and minimum 23 degrees. Chennai, maximum 35 and minimum 28 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 32 and minimum 24 degrees.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
posted. Oh, we're rolling? Wait a minute. Story posted, WhatsApp sent. So much to do, but I think it's a good idea to occasionally disconnect from your smartphone or at the very least from social media. However, the majority of us still need our phones with us so we can make calls and send messages. Of course, you can leave your phone at home when you go out, and in my case, hopefully my cellular smartwatch as well. But the issue arises sometimes when you end up wasting an excessive amount of time scrolling and swiping away on mindless games and apps. Studies have actually shown that if you get addicted to your smartphone, it could possibly affect your relationships, mental health, and productivity. So sometimes it might be wise to take a step back and disconnect or detox from an increasingly connected world. Ironically, technology comes to the rescue here in the form of apps that can aid the process. So we've compiled a special Tech Today list of these apps which can really help you digitally detox and break this addiction for you in a matter of a few clicks. An excellent all-around digital detox app is App Detox. Literally, you can choose which apps you want to limit using this very app. Then you can make specific guidelines. You can decide, for instance, how many times you can open
Good evening. You're watching Mission 2024 here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal. As we count down to the 2024 elections, almost every single thing takes a political turn. So has the schedule for the upcoming Cricket World Cup. What are we talking about? We'll tell you in just a bit. Here are the headlines first. Prime Minister Modi calls opposition a guarantee of corruption and scams, names and shames the Ghotala netas.
एक एक को जरा देख लीजिए, उन सबका मिलकर के टोटल लगाएंगे तो ये सारे मिलकर के कम से कम 20 लाख करोड़ के घोटाले की गारंटी है।
Prime Minister Modi takes on opposition over one nation, one law, says Supreme Court wants UCC implementation and it will improve condition of backward Muslims.
अगर ये मुसलमानों के सही मायने में हितैषी होते तो अधिकांश परिवार मेरे मुस्लिम भाई बहन शिक्षा में पीछे न रहते।
Opposition counters Prime Minister's Ghotala charge, says first Prime Minister must deliver promises made in 2014. TMC calls it a panic reaction. More trouble for Arvind Kejriwal. CAG report says whopping 52 crores spent on CM bungalow renovations. Outcries foul over cab special audit. Siddaramaiah government likely to form SIT to probe Bombay government's reported scams, alleges Bitcoin, PSI, COVID scams by previous BJP government. And the 2023 ODI World Cup schedule is out. Mega India versus Pakistan clash in Ahmedabad on October 15th. The World Cup final is on November 19th, again at the same stadium, at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Congress and AAP slam BCCI over World Cup fixtures. Question why all matches, the big ones, are slotted for Ahmedabad and none for Thiruvananthapuram or Mohali. Let's begin with breaking news that's coming in. The ICC has reportedly rejected Pakistan's request to relocate 2 of their ODI World Cup games in India. The Pakistan Cricket Board had asked ICC and BCCI to reschedule its match against Afghanistan from Chennai to Bengaluru and the game against Australia from Bengaluru to Chennai. They wanted it flipped. Besides that, there was another request also to relocate their match against India, which is slated right now to happen in the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. The Pakistan Cricket Board wanted it moved from there. The ICC, however, hasn't entertained Pakistan's request. It was on expected lines, as it usually addresses concerns over venues on potential security threat and not on the basis of cricketing grounds or any other grounds that the team may have. So the ICC has said that considering this decision of yours or this request is not based on security reasons, we feel no need to go ahead and heed this request. So there will be no rescheduling this fixtures, the venues as they've been proposed by the ICC and BCCI stay on. Pakistan wanted a few changes, including changing the venue of the India-Pakistan clash from Ahmedabad to another city. The Chennai and Bengaluru clashes, they wanted that flipped, but none of that is going to work out. As the ICC has made it very clear, the only reason that they relocate or consider any such request is if there's a security threat, which in this case wasn't the case or wasn't the basis for the request from the Pakistan Cricket Board. There is no doubt going to be a lot more questions about this, and Pakistan will try as hard as they can to push for a change of venue, but for now it's been shot down by ICC. Rahul Rawat is joining us with more details on this. Rahul, when the schedule came out, there were a lot of questions about whether Pakistan would try to change some of these venues, but it's clearly been shot down by the ICC.
Well, that's right, Akshita. So what had happened is a couple of weeks ago, BCCI had prepared a draft of the entire schedule of this World Cup and they had sent it to the ICC. Now what happens is ICC then sends it to the participating boards, and Pakistan is also one of those, and they seek response and feedback from those respective boards. So Pakistan had reservations for 2 games, or rather I should say 3 games, out of which one has been allowed and approved, which is that they didn't want to play their semi-final in Mumbai. So now what ICC has done is that if India, if they make it to the semi-finals, they will play in Mumbai. If Pakistan, they make it to the semi-finals, they will play only and only in Kolkata. And if it's an India versus Pakistan semi-final, then that match will happen in Kolkata. Now, the 2 things that have been rejected are A, they didn't want to play Afghanistan in Chennai because Afghanistan, they have some very good spinners and Chennai traditionally is a turning track. So they didn't want. So this was not a security reason that they gave for not playing Afghanistan in Chennai. So that is the reason why ICC had shot down that feedback or the reservation that Pakistan had.
Okay, Rahul, thanks very much for joining us with those details. So for now, Pakistan will have to be okay with all the venues that have been allotted for their matches. Meanwhile, in India, there's politics that's broken out over the Cricket World Cup schedule. Political parties, the AAP, Congress, they've all come together to question the venues that have been chosen for some of these matches. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, who represents Thiruvananthapuram, has expressed his displeasure over the fact that Thiruvananthapuram and Kerala, for that matter, doesn't have a single match slotted in the state. He's referred to the Thiruvananthapuram Stadium as one of the best cricket stadiums in India. He also highlighted how Ahmedabad is becoming a new cricket capital of the country. And that's a question many have asked because their opening match, the India-Pakistan clash and the final are all slated to happen at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Not only him, Punjab Sports Minister from the Aam Aadmi Party, Gurmeet Singh, also expressed his disappointment over the fact that the Mohali Stadium is not a part of the World Cup schedule. It's not in the fixtures, claiming that the 2011 World Cup semi-final match was held in Mohali. This Punjab minister has questioned why this time around nothing is happening in Mohali, and has also asked why is it that the opening and the closing match is taking place in the Narendra Modi Stadium.
ਜਦੋਂ ਵਰਲਡ ਕੱਪ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਏ ਤਾਂ 96 ਦੇ ਵਰਲਡ ਕੱਪ ਦਾ ਸੈਮੀਫਾਈਨਲ ਮੋਹਾਲੀ 'ਚ ਹੋਇਆ, 2011 ਦੇ ਵਰਲਡ ਕੱਪ ਦਾ ਸੈਮੀਫਾਈਨਲ ਮੋਹਾਲੀ 'ਚ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਐਤਕੀ ਸੈਮੀਫਾਈਨਲ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਮੈਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੋਹਾਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਸਟ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਰਿੰਦਰ ਮੋਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਟੇਡੀਅਮ ਅਹਿਮਦਾਬਾਦ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਮੈਚ ਵੀ ਕਰਵਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਓਪਨਿੰਗ ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਇੰਡੀਆ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਮੈਚ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਫਾਈਨਲ ਵੀ ਉਸੇ ਸਟੇਡੀਅਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਾਫ਼ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਅਹਿਮਦਾਬਾਦ ਨੂੰ 3 ਵੱਡੇ ਮੈਚ ਜੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕੋ ਇੱਕ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਹਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ.
And when I see the kind of the way they have distributed the venues, I laugh. on the way arbitrarily they have taken decision. They should, first of all, the way how it goes is, first of all, you take the senior most, the founder members, and you allot important matches to those. Delhi is one of the founder members, and it has got a game against Afghanistan. It's a laughing stock. Then you have a stadium which is comparatively newer than Mohali and to Trivandrum, the two which are under controversy, has got two matches, which was earlier Sardar Patel Stadium, which I don't know why it has been named Narendra Modi Stadium. It should have been in some sports person's name, like Hanchan was named in place of Rajiv Gandhi, sports Khel Ratna. So it's very strange that you have a very important game between India and Pakistan being played at Ahmedabad, and again the final.
अभी तक तो रिकॉर्ड यही कह रहा है कि इंडिया वर्ल्ड कप में हारी नहीं है और शायद 7 बारी हम लोग जीते हैं, उसमें से सिर्फ एक बारी चेज किया जो कि 6 विकेट से जीते, बाकी हर बार इंडिया ने पहले बैटिंग करके हर बारी बड़ा स्कोर लगाया और पाकिस्तान को हराया है. उस दिन क्या होगा तो नहीं कह सकते, बट जो प्रेशर बैटर हैंडल करेगा वो टीम वो जीतेगी. और वर्ल्ड कप में मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इंडिया बेहतर प्रेशर हैंडल करता है, शायद इसलिए भी जीतता है. और पाकिस्तान के ऊपर भी वो बर्डन है कि हम कभी जीते ही नहीं है वर्ल्ड कप, तो उस माइंडसेट से आते हैं कि क्या इस बार जीतेंगे कि. मेरे ख्याल से इंडिया आर फेवरेट्स.
And let me bring in on this broadcast our consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai as well. Rajdeep, good evening. What do you make of this entire controversy of the fixtures that have been announced by the ICC? Do you believe that, yes, there's a certain advantage given to BJP ruled states, that the focus largely is on the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad?
You know, look, in a country as large as our subcontinental size, everyone's never going to be happy. But yes, prima facie, one thing is very clear. Ahmedabad is most favored city. Gets the opening match, gets prize matches like India versus Pakistan, England versus Australia, and gets the final. Now, you could argue that Ahmedabad is the largest stadium now in the country, therefore is getting these matches. But the truth also is the balance of power has shifted to Gujarat in Indian cricket, with Jai Shah as the all-powerful secretary of the BCCI. So that is one important reason why it appears that all the VVIP fixtures have gone to Gujarat. I am a Mumbaikar and I still believe that Mumbai is the home of Indian cricket. And therefore, just getting a couple of relatively smaller matches to Mumbai. Yes, we've got the semi-finals. I would question it. I'm sure there will be people in Kolkata who will also want a little bit more for Kolkata or Chennai or Bengaluru. Whether it's BJP versus non-BJP ruled states, I guess certainly the fact that Mohali, which got the semi-final in 2011, is out of the fixture list, will raise question marks. It's an AAP-ruled government there. I heard Shashi Tharoor complaining about Thiruvananthapuram, but Thiruvananthapuram is a relatively new centre in Indian cricket. So I'm not going to get into the BJP versus non-BJP ruled states, but I would have liked to see perhaps the cities where cricket has always been ingrained in the culture getting the bigger matches, and starting with my home city of Mumbai.
Let's also bring in Nikhil Raza on this. Nikhil, what is the process really that's followed in selection of stadiums and selection of venues for these World Cup matches? Can there be any space for, any sort of political interference in that?
Well, it can't be because, Akshita, BCCI runs under its own constitution. There are various other executive members, board members that then sit together and decide. But, truth be told, there has been internal politics in the BCCI for time immemorial. There have been certain venues that have been favoured at different times. Rajdeep just now pointed out that the balance of power may have shifted to Ahmedabad, which is true. But in different times, in different eras, we've seen balance of power rest with different venues. There was a time where Chennai got all the important matches because the BCCI president came from Chennai. There was a time that Kolkata got all the important matches because the BCCI president came from Kolkata. There was a time that Mumbai ruled the roost when it came to Indian cricket, and all important games were played in Mumbai. So I think that is all part of the journey. It's all part of internal BCCI politics. Remember, BCCI is governed by its own constitution. BCCI elections are very important. So a lot of times venues are handed out crucial matches based on the kind of votes that they will give when eventually the election of the secretary and the president are done. So that's something that has been there in the BCCI for the longest time. Having said that, not having Mohali is something that really stands out. Not having even a venue like Jaipur, Savai Man Singh Stadium, is something that is unusual. Sure, Thiruvananthapuram is a new venue, but Kerala always got matches between Kochi and Thiruvananthapuram. It's not happened there as well. So yes, there are anomalies. There are different areas that seem like right now that certain stadiums or venues have been excluded on purpose. Whether it's political or not is a entirely different debate. But yes, Mohali, in fact, Rajdeep pointed out one semi-final. They've hosted 2 World Cup semi-finals. Way back in 1996, also a semi-final was played in Mohali. The last time in 2011, a semi-final was played there. Not having Mohali get even a single game is something that, will create a debate. One more thing, if I can point out, Akshita, on the part of the BCCI. Remember, a lot of people might say that, listen, 48 matches, 10 venues, each of them getting roughly around 5 games. Could you have not distributed it to a few more venues, whereby, let's say, the venues could have got 2 or 3, and then you could have had more than 10, maybe 15, and accommodate a Jaipur, and accommodate a Mohali. But on that front, I'd have to side with the BCCI, because ICC also has certain guidelines where you can't have more than 10 venues. You can't have teams traveling, to various different venues. So you have to limit it to a certain number, and 10 has been that number.
Okay, Nikhil, thanks very much for joining us with that insight. Thanks to Rajdeep as well. This is an interesting debate, and no doubt one that the opposition will continue to raise. But as they say, all is fair in love, war, and in cricket. Let's move on to the other big story, the big political story that came in of Prime Minister Narendra Modi hitting out at the opposition in what's being deemed as his most aggressive, sharpest ever attack, and in sync essentially with the BJP strategy ahead of the 2024 elections. The Prime Minister raised 2 issues, dynasty and Ghotala, and corruption, to lash out at opposition parties, and he named every single one of them.
From the whirlwind tour of the United States and Egypt, Prime Minister Modi switched gears from diplomacy to domestic politics. Addressing a gathering of BJP workers in poll-bound Madhya Pradesh, the Prime Minister tore into mission opposition unity.
देखिए, ऐसे लोगों पर गुस्सा मत कीजिए, दया कीजिए उन लोगों पर। 2014 हो या 19, वो कितने ही गौर विरोधी थे, लेकिन उन दोनों चुनावों में हमने देखा कि इतनी छटपटाहट नहीं दिखी जितनी आज दिख रही है। जिन लोगों को कुछ लोग पहले अपना दुश्मन बताते थे, पानी पी पी कर कोसा करते थे, गालियां देते थे, अब उन लोगों को आगे जाकर वो साष्टांग प्रणाम कर रहे हैं, नतमस्तक हो रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister said that the opposition's common minimum program is to escape action against corruption.
सारे मिलकर के कम से कम 20 लाख करोड़ के घोटाले की गारंटी है। कांग्रेस का घोटाला ही अकेले लाखों करोड़ों का है। 1,86,000 करोड़ का कोयला घोटाला, 1,76,000 करोड़ का 2G घोटाला, आरजेडी हजारों करोड़ के घोटाले का आरोप है। चारा घोटाला, अलकतरा घोटाला, टीएमसी पर भी 23,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा के घोटाले का आरोप।
He declared the only guarantee that the opposition parties have is of घोटाला or scams.
अगर उनकी घोटाले की गारंटी है, हर घोटालेबाज पर कार्रवाई की गारंटी। जिसने देश को लूटा है, उसका हिसाब तो हो करके रहेगा।
Then came an all-out attack on dynasty politics.
गांधी परिवार के बेटे बेटी का विकास करना हो तो फिर कांग्रेस को वोट दीजिए। आपको मुलायम सिंह जी के बेटे का भला करना है तो फिर समाजवादी पार्टी को वोट दीजिए। अगर आप लालू परिवार के बेटे बेटियों को उनका भला करना चाहते हो तो आरजेडी को वोट दीजिए। आपको शरद पवार जी की बेटी का भला करना हो तो आप एनसीपी को वोट दीजिए। आपको अब्दुल्ला परिवार के बेटे का भला करना हो तो आप नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस को वोट दीजिए। आपको करुणानिधि जी के बेटे बेटियों पोते पोतियों का भला करना हो तो डीएमके को वोट दीजिए।
The opposition parties were ready with the counter.
Abusing the opposition parties, they are all big leaders. They came with a great majority. He is only doing all the corrupt people. He is only doing washing machine business.
There was a time in Maharashtra when his leaders were highlighting the scams of the MLAs who are now a part of the Eknath Shinde group.
जब से पटना में पूरे देश की धड़कनें इकट्ठा हुई हैं, तब से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी अमेरिका से लेके उनका दिल जो है वो पटना की मीटिंग में फंसा हुआ है।
With his aggressive attack on united opposition, the Prime Minister has clearly set the tone for a Modi versus Rest battle in 2024. Bureau Report, India Today.
And with that report, I'm slipping into a short break here on India Today. Coming up on the other side, my AI colleague Sana gets you a fact check segment.
Where the software engineer meets the smart market analyst, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
The India Today Group is pleased to announce the launch of a brand new online portal for our Best Colleges survey, featuring 6 years of ranking data as well as a wealth of granular information on thousands of institutes of higher learning. Our interactive portal offers easy access, analysis and guidance to our Best Colleges of India survey results for over 2,000 colleges across 14 streams. We invite everyone to visit our site bestcolleges.indiatoday.in and we wish aspiring students all the very best.
So for all the investors, this IPO has opened for subscription today. Would you be bullish on this space? Would you recommend investors to take a plunge here?
Sakshi, definitely this is a very good company. They are into the aerospace. They are the leader in the aerospace technology. So I believe investors should invest this company. And the most important thing is the management is very keen to clear the debts. So they are coming in the IPO with at least they are planning to reduce their debt, and they are coming with a new product, and they are going for the more government contracts. So yes, this is a very good company. Investors should invest into this.
Okay, so investors can definitely look at subscribing. Would you advise investors to stay here for the long term, or should one really look at just listing gains and book the profits out?
I'm expecting the listing gain should be almost 20 to 30%. If you are a long-term investor, definitely you should hold this stock for the long term.
Okay, 20-30% kind of listing gains in case you're a short-term investor, but long-term investors can also continue to hold this space, this stock in their portfolios if they get the allotment of this stock too. Apart from this, let's also jump on to the next IPO, and that's Cyient DLM IPO that will open for subscription tomorrow. Now here again, the public issue is worth 592 crore rupees. And the bidding will be allowed till 30th of June. The company management has fixed the IPO price between 250 to 265 rupees per equity share. And over here also we've seen that the grey market premium is around 100 rupees odd or 110 rupees odd as well. But here again, remember that the key point here is that it's a complete, fresh issue of shares. So the entire money or the fund will be used by the company, for cutting its debt, for its working capital and expansion plans too. Cyient DLM, the subsidiary of Cyient, the tech major, getting listed, launching its IPO here. One lot comprises of 56 shares, and requirement for the IPO is 14,840 rupees, and that's one lot, and the maximum would be closer to 2 lakh rupees, and that is 13 lots will be allowed for per retail investor. Here, what would you say, Raghavendra? Does this IPO excite you?
Definitely, this is a very good company, and you name the industry, they are into this. They are into oil and gas, they are into defense, they are into railway, they are into semiconductor. They are everywhere in this industry, So this is a very good company. I'm expecting a good listing gain also. And the major part, I'm expecting, investor to hold this stock for the long term also.
Long term also. So what kind of listing gains do you expect here? And for the long term investors, what should be the kind of outlook one has?
I'm expecting around listing around 380, 400 level, and that is a very good level. If you are a short-term trader, definitely you should book your profit. But for the long term, you should this stock should be in your portfolio.
You are watching Fact Check segment where we bust fake news. A post is going viral purportedly showing that OceanGate posted a marine pilot job vacancy just days after its submarine tragedy, which left 5 civilians dead after implosion. India Today's investigation found that the official OceanGate website was shut down on 22nd June, the day the submarine's debris was found. The job vacancy has been on the website since as early as August 2020. This fact check on viral fake news is done by India Today's team Afwa. With that, a quick break. Stay with us for the news and updates. This is AI Sana signing off.
One of the best apps available right now for digital detox is certainly Flipped. You can join groups with people and give each other challenges just like on other apps. With this digital detox app, you can customize how much screen time you spend each day. All social networking apps will disappear after the timer expires for the specified period of time, but calls and messages will still be functional. The Flipped app is designed to increase your productivity. For instance, when you're studying for an exam, to improve attention and relaxation, you can use the relaxing soundtracks that are already included with the app. The tunes on the app are lovely, with sounds that range from crackling fires and even mild rain. Number 5. Well, this one isn't an app, but if you use an iPhone, then this is a nifty feature. Focus mode, and I'm using it right now. By switching on this mode, you can shut down your work apps for the weekend, turn off notifications when you're working or even sleeping. You can decide when to get email notifications and when you want to take specific calls, etc. It's like a much more effective and specific DND mode that you can use for work or play. Couple that with screen time notifications telling you you've been spending way too much time on Instagram, and it changes the user experience altogether. So there you go, my top 5 ways to ensure technology augments my daily routine but also lets me live under a rock when I need to. That's me signing off, and we hope you stay safe and that these tips come in handy.
Such launches are you expecting for this fiscal, or could you give us a sense of the next 1 or 2 years?
We've already talked about bringing in almost a launch every quarter. So this is the first. We're going to see some more.
Right, absolutely. So, with premiumization also comes the need for infrastructure upgrade at Hero MotoCorp dealership level, at the ground level as well. So, what are the plans there, sir?
Well, these beauties need a new house.
Of course.
Yeah, so we're going to open 100 premium stores, exclusive stores for our premium products over the next 4 quarters. So we're on that path. We're very, very excited. Our dealers are also very excited about that.
Also, if you're talking about premiumization, one cannot absolutely ignore the fact that Harley is coming up from the Heroes stable. So give us a sense when it's coming on road, and how much volumes will the Extreme and the Harley's X440 add?
So there's going to be a lot of excitement, I can tell you that.
Okay.
Today we're talking about the Extreme,
All right.
and very soon we'll be talking about other stuff as well.
Right. So also my last questions, what is the focus and the plan for the entry level vehicles? Is Hero simultaneously focusing on the entry level, the 125cc segment as well, along with the 160 plus cc segment?
Sure. When you think about Hero at the entry commuter side of the business, we're at about 70-80% market share, and therefore getting a couple of points market share is not, there's not much joy in that. What we are looking at is to grow the category, expand the category, invite more consumers as first-time buyers to come in. And we're doing a lot of work with our dealers to be able to get more customers and expand the two-wheeler category.
But as the Chief Growth Officer, are you not concerned, sir, that the sales for rural two-wheelers is almost on a decline constantly, with electric vehicles also coming up into this space? So does that worry you, or the bullish trend will continue for Hero MotoCorp?
We recently launched the Super Splendor X-Tech, which is 125cc, and we're seeing across the board success and uptake in rural as well as in urban. We are seeing Splendor as very strong. HF Deluxe continues to be strong. So we definitely see more and more consumers. Just remember, we've come out of 2 years of COVID. So this is the time when the economy is coming back. There are lots of positive green shoots that we are seeing. And definitely it augurs well for the two-wheeler industry.
Co-powered by The World Comes Together at Sharda University. Bajaj Allianz Life Diabetic Term Plan. SBI Mutual Fund, a partner for life.
Good evening. You're watching To The Point here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and this evening, over the next 30 minutes, we're putting the focus on the Uniform Civil Code. It's a much debated issue, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi, just hours ago, speaking in Bhopal, lashed out at the opposition, making it very clear that he bats and stands for UCC. He accused the opposition of misleading minorities, and also with that, coupled UCC with a big outreach to the Muslim community, a community that's against this reform, that's against one nation, one law. Let's get you all the details first in our report before we take this across to our political panel.
परिवार के दूसरे सदस्य के लिए दूसरा कानून हो तो क्या वो घर चल पाएगा क्या? जब भी जहां जाता हूं वो भाजपा के साथ खड़ी रहती है, मोदी के साथ खड़ी रहती है.
After his forceful defense of his government's track record in securing minorities during his US trip, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a big push for one nation, one law.
जो एयर कंडीशन कमरों में बैठकर
Modi said that Muslims only stand to benefit from a uniform law and accused the opposition of brainwashing the minority community and demonizing the UCC. Addressing party workers in the election-bound state of Madhya Pradesh, Modi said India can't run on two sets of laws.
हर मौसम आजकल हम देख रहे हैं कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के नाम पर ऐसे लोगों को भड़काने का काम हो रहा है. आप मुझे बताइए, एक घर में परिवार के एक सदस्य के लिए एक कानून हो, परिवार के दूसरे सदस्य के लिए दूसरा कानून हो, तो क्या वो घर चल पाएगा क्या? कभी भी चल पाएगा क्या? फिर ऐसी दोहरी व्यवस्था से देश कैसे चल पाएगा?
Modi said his government has been taking steps to benefit all sections, including Muslims. Citing his government's ban on medieval triple talaq, Modi said that the deeply anti-women practice has already been banned in Muslim-majority countries. Modi added, and those backing triple talaq are only doing grave injustice to Muslim women.
मुझे लगता है कि जो भी 3 तलाक के पक्ष में बातें करते हैं, 3 तलाक की वकालत करते हैं, ये वोट बैंक भूखे लोग मुस्लिम बेटियों के साथ बहुत बड़ा अन्याय कर रहे हैं.
Opposition leaders were quick to hit back at the Prime Minister, saying One India, One Law was a direct attack on the Muslim community.
मोदी जी ने कोई ड्राफ्ट रखा नहीं देश के सामने. आनंद मैरिज एक्ट पे जो सिखों के लिए है, उस पर यूसीसी में क्या होगा? जैन धर्म के लिए कुछ कानून बने स्पेशल, उस पर यूसीसी में क्या होगा? मोदी जी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को देश को बेवकूफ़ बनाने के बजाय एक ड्राफ्ट रखना चाहिए पहले. यूसीसी में वो करना क्या चाहते हैं? उसका दस्तावेज कहाँ है? मैं तो खोज रहा हूँ, दस्तावेज दीजिए पहले.
AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi accused the Prime Minister of shedding crocodile tears for Muslims, saying his pawns were busy attacking mosques and lynching Muslims.
भारत के प्रधानमंत्री भारत की डाइवर्सिटी को, प्लुरलिज्म को एक प्रॉब्लम समझते. यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की जब बात प्रधानमंत्री कर रहे हैं, वो यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की नहीं बात कर रहे, वो हिंदू सिविल कोड की बात कर रहे. पूरे जो इस्लामिक रेफरेंसेस है प्रैक्टिसेस के, उसको वो इलीगल ट्रीट करेंगे और पूरे हिंदू प्रैक्टिसेस को प्रधानमंत्री अंडर द लॉ प्रोटेक्ट कर लेंगे.
Modi during his US visit had strongly affirmed his government's Sabka Vikas pledge.
Our vision is सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास. It means together for everyone's growth, with everyone's trust and everyone's efforts.
Uniform Civil Code means having a common law for all citizens of the country that is not based on religion. UCC has been part of most of the BJP manifestos and also a mandate from the Supreme Court which wants legal parity of all religions. Bureau Report, India Today.
So political parties clearly taking a stand on Uniform Civil Code, and questions loom on whether it will become a reality in 2024. Let's open this up. Joining us here on To The Point is Adil Hassan, spokesperson of the AIMIM, Shehzad Poonawalla, spokesperson of the BJP, and Salem Dharnidharan, spokesperson of the DMK. Good evening, gentlemen. Can I begin first with the AIMIM? Mr. Adil Hassan, what's your objection exactly to the Uniform Civil Code? If Muslims do benefit from equality, from one nation, one law, why is there a need to politically oppose it?
Ma'am, my leader, Barrister Asaduddin Owaisi Sahab, very categorically told about the reality that why Mr. Modi wants to enforce anything. In India, in every 50 kilometer, we change our